Hey, alright, so I have a tragic story here. Probably one of the saddest stories I've ever done. Alright, so what you're about to see, the video's coming up. Also, there's a link in the description box of the news story. So what you're about to see is a young man gets shot. The victim's name is Dylan Noble, a white 19-year-old who lived in Fresno, California. What happened was he was holding one hand behind his back. He continued walking towards Fresno officers despite multiple warnings. Also, the police found nothing but a small empty plastic container in his hand after they searched the scene. After they searched him, the whole reason for the stop is because the officers said in the report that they were looking for a man with a gun. My thing is, so did Dylan match the description, or was this just something the officers made up to cover their own backs? Or maybe someone called in and maybe Dylan called in. We don't know anything and said that he had a gun. I don't know. So Dylan said he hated his life and the officers shot him down. Alright? While he was walking towards them with his hands behind his back, with one hand behind his back. He was still moving and the officers finished them off while he was on the ground. It was obviously suicide by cop, right? Anybody can see that. On one hand, the cops were right, in my opinion, in protecting their lives, right? They were right to protect themselves from a potential threat. But my thing is, on the other hand, they had body armor, and everybody says, you know, police are trained to shoot and whatnot, and police are, you know, trained to kill. If this has happened in many other countries, he would have still been alive. And what's really sad, like I said, is suicide by cops. So anytime, like in America, that seems most prevalent. If you want to die, you go up to a cop and you say you have a gun and hold your hand behind your back and walk towards them. But in places like Great Britain, you probably won't die because a lot of their cops don't carry weapons, you know, and they still manage to defuse situations. So, like I said, on one hand, you know, the popular thing would be to think, hey, let's go ahead and let's give the cops a pass since the guy had his hand behind his back walking towards them. But if you really wanted to do damage to the cops, you would have, like, common sense would say, hey, I'm just going to shoot the cops first. But obviously, this wasn't the case. They couldn't shoot him in the leg. Like I said, I understand they're trained to kill, but they couldn't shoot him in the leg. You know, they had to finish him off while he was on the ground, not even looking at them. There was multiple cops around. They obviously had him pretty much surrounded. You know, I just feel like this wasn't the way it was supposed to go. Because, you know, that just means anybody can commits their own suicide. The cops are assisting it, and of course it's the cops' responsibility to make sure they get back. Oh, hear me out. Of course it's the cops' responsibility to make sure they get back to their families, right? To make sure they are protected, to make sure the other individuals, the other officers are protected, right? Of course that's their responsibility, but isn't the oath they took to protect and serve? Protect and serve, protect not only themselves but the community. If there's no one else out on the road, shouldn't the victim in this case have been protected to a certain point? Shouldn't something have went off in the officers' minds to say, hey, maybe this guy just wants to commit suicide and he doesn't have anything, but you know what? The officers are like, no, we're not taking the chance, which is understandable, even though it's your job to take the chance. What happened to all the movies are like you see in these movies and all these TV shows, people trying to get killed by cops. They just want to get killed by cops, and the cops are like, you know, calm down, and they wait until they actually see a gun, and then they shoot, or they shoot him in the leg or something, and the guy falls down, or they shoot him in the chest, or whatever the case may be, and the guy falls down, and if the guy doesn't move, they walk around and then they see that he doesn't have a gun and then they arrest him. In this case, that didn't happen. That's just in the movies, you know what I'm saying? In real life, they don't care. They will protect their lives at any cost, regardless of what you may or may not have. A potential threat will get you killed, not a real threat, a potential threat. And that's the sad thing. I think we really need some serious reform in every police department in the United States, due to the fact that this could have ended so much better than it did. Like I said, I'm not blaming the cops for shooting them. I'm blaming the system for not teaching and not training police officers to handle different situations in a more efficient manner. So yeah, after that being said, watch the tape. You decide. Were the cops wrong for shooting a man, killing him while he was already down, and not even searching him beforehand, not even thinking that he may not have anything? Or were the cops right in shooting him and protecting their own lives? You decide. Spread it.
49861. Looks like it's occupied by one.
Copy. Vehicle's going to come back on a 93 Ford pickup, RO last of Noble, first of Dillon, out of Clovis.
Copy.
Further information units on the assault victim. Male victim is bleeding severely from the ear and maybe nose. Suspects RGOA. 5 individuals last seen towards Chestnut. RP stopped to ask if the male needed help. He refused. No further. And the suspects were all wearing red clothing.
3 Henry, looks like the vehicle's pulling over into the gas station at Armstrong and Shields.
Copy, Armstrong and Shields. Advise if you want the
Turn off the truck! Get your hands out the window! Both hands out the window! No, I didn't tell you to get out. Hey, let me see both of your hands. Let me see both of your hands. Let me see your hands. Get both of your hands out. Both of your hands. 311, sorry, unit code 3. Let me see your hands. Let me see your hands. Let me see your hands. Both hands, both hands. Keep your hands out where we can see them. Both of your hands. Other hand, right hand up. Right hand up. Yep.
I think we got a dog with us. 3 Baker 11, 12. He's getting out of the car. Get down on the ground! Get down on the ground! Fresno Police Department, get down on the ground! We don't have a dog?
Let the dog go. Let me see your hands.
Stand by. All right,
Good. Stop. Stop.
Get down on the ground now!
Stop.
Get down on the ground now! Get your fucking ass on the ground!
Stop.
Fresno Police Department! Drop whatever you have in your hand. If you come forward, you're gonna get shot, man. Get down on the ground now! 3 Baker 12, shots fired, suspect down, start
Get your
EMS
hands
code
up.
3. Let me see your hands. Get the hands
Get
up,
your
I cannot
hands
see
up.
his hands! Dude,
Don't reach
get the
for your
hands
hands.
out! Quit reaching for what you got! Get the hands out!
Keep your hands up.
Dude, if you reach one more time, you will get shot again. Stop! Dude!
Hey,
Quit
reaching for your waistband. Lay over on your belly.
Dude, do not reach again, please! okay?
Alright, I wasn't going to record this, but I also want to tell you a story. A real quick one. I used to be in the Marine Corps. United States Marine Corps, and my first deployment was to Iraq in 2006, January. There was once, we were out on a patrol just walking, about 12 of us, and the rules of engagement were if anything suspicious, such as anyone walking with wires towards you, you would shoot them, because there have been a lot of suicide bombings, there have been a lot of roadside bombings and whatnot. No matter the age, it ranged from old men to young women. And I remember we were on a patrol, and there was this little girl. She must have been, couldn't have been past 5, right? 5 years old, walking towards me, holding wires. Most of the villagers, they were back, and she was just walking towards me, holding wires. And there had just been a bombing not 2 days beforehand. So little girl walks towards me, and she's just doing her thing, and I'm like, all the other Marines, all the other members of the squad were kind of dispersed a little bit, and everybody's just looking at me, and everybody's just looking at her. And I look at my team leader, he looks at me, and I look at her, and she's getting closer and closer. And I'm like, should I shoot this girl? And I'm like, no, I'm not. If she takes me out, she just takes me out, but what if she doesn't have anything? Like, what if it's nothing? You know, because my job there wasn't to necessarily kill people. It was just to protect people. It wasn't to take lives. It was to save lives. So, in that case, she walked right up to me, and nothing happened. She just like held the wires, smiling in her hand. She held the wires in her hand, smiling. And she just like tried to give them to me like they were flowers. And my heart beat so fast. I swear, my heart rarely has ever beat that fast. I've never been so in fear of my life as it was as that point in my life. So it's like, you know, we need to understand that, you know, those assigned to protect us must protect everyone, not just the people that may be in danger, but also the possible perpetrators. Like, you're not just like cops and military people aren't just assigned to protect victims, but also perpetrators. In this case, are suspects. In this case, possible perpetrators. Dude didn't even have a gun, you know, so it was just basically suicide. But thanks for your input. Like I said, let me know your comments, and peace out.